Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World. For over 20 years, Reach the World has used virtual exchange to inspire youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens. My name is Tim, and I'm so glad you're joining us for today's Meet the World live stream event. The Meet the World program builds positive personal connections between students in the US and global cultures, all through direct interactions with real people who are excited to share their countries and cultures with you. For a complete listing of upcoming Meet the World live stream events, you can visit athome.reachtheworld.org. Today, we're connecting with Maria Isabel Lopez Ventura. Maria is a Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant from Seville, Spain. And this year, she's teaching Spanish at Pacific University in Forest Grove, Oregon. She's teaching virtually right now from Seville. She's joining us today from Seville to talk about Spanish stereotypes, the truth or fiction behind them, and what it's like to live in southern Spain. Before I turn things over to Maria, though, I want to welcome the teachers and students who are watching today's Meet the World live stream event. Please feel free to use the YouTube chat bar to let us know you're here, where you're joining from, and of course, to share any questions you have for Maria as we go. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 30 minutes. All right, it's time to take a journey to Spain. Maria, welcome to Reach the World.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you, Tim, for such an amazing introduction. Well, my name is Maria. I'm right now in Spain, in the south of Spain. I couldn't make it to Oregon, where I'm teaching. I'm the foreign language teaching assistant in Spanish this year. And as I say, I couldn't make it in August, so hopefully I will be there in January. Well, today we'll be talking about Spanish stereotypes. Well, stereotypes in general, but I want to take you to my world and what Spanish people feel when they hear the stereotypes that people know about them abroad. So, well, the goal of this presentation is going to be to reflect about how much do we use stereotypes and how stereotypes affect us both individually and globally as a country. Because how many times have you heard the sentence, well, he's a nerd, or girls are not good at sports? Those are stereotypes that affect us individually, but there are also a lot of stereotypes that affect us as a country. And they may be even hurtful. So we need to know about them, and we need to know to reflect. We have to reflect on how we use those stereotypes and to what ends. So I'm going to start sharing my presentation. Okay. Here you have it. So the index that we are going to follow is that first we are going to talk about how stereotypes affect us. Then we are going to give a definition of stereotype, and then we are going to talk about the Spanish stereotypes and the way we have to dismantle it, which is through information, through factual information. And then we are going to provide some conclusions. But first, I want to locate you with me within Spain. So Spain, for those of you who do not know it, is within Europe. Okay, it's a little country within Europe. It's here in the left corner, okay, painted in pink. And I am here in the south of Spain in a region called Andalusia, which is the biggest region in the whole country of Spain. And specifically, I'm here in this city, in Seville, which is the capital of the region of Andalusia. If you have never been to Spain, or if you are planning on visiting us in Spain, I recommend you totally to come here to Andalusia. It's a region which has an amazing history. We have a background, we have a history that mixes us with Arabian people, with Jewish people, and we have a cultural heritage that is very, very rich. And I'm sure that if you come to visit us, you're going to enjoy a nice trip and you're going to love it. Of course, contact me if you come to Seville. I'm here to help you. So, well, this is where I'm right now. And as I say, hopefully I'll be in Oregon for January. So, well, Spain is a little country, and you may not know Spanish stereotypes, but if we have to make a comparison, if we think about Italy, a country that probably is more known than Spain, when you think about Italy, you think about pizzas and spaghettis, and that's all. That's the general idea that comes to your mind, and that is totally wrong. That's what I want to develop throughout this presentation. It's like we can compare it with the United States, and if you think about the United States, you can think about hamburgers. And that is not all. Again, that's what I want to dismantle throughout this presentation. So I have to ask you these questions. What do we know about a country without actually knowing the country? Because if you have never been in a country, what you know is what people tell you about that country. But remember the example of Italy and the example of the United States. Is that fair? In the United States, there are 50 states and there are more than 331 million people. Each state has its own history, its own traditions, its own culture, its own food. We are different. People are different, so the states where people are different as well. So would it be fair to comprise so much variety into 4 or 5 stereotype ideas? People would be losing so much information. That would be totally unfair. So, well, here you have some stereotypes about the United States, because then we are going to be discussing some stereotypes about Spain, and I wanted to put a mirror so you can see the stereotypes that people have about the United States and see how Spanish people feel as well when the only information that people know about Spain is our stereotypes. So for example, all Americans are rich. Is that true? I'm sure that there are many, many Americans that are struggling to make ends meet, that like there are in all the countries in the world. So that's an unfair stereotype. Americans are obsessed with their work. Americans are ignorant about their world. Americans are overly patriotic. Americans can only speak English. Americans don't travel. All Americans have iPhones. Well, maybe that's because it's cheaper in the United States than the rest of the world. So, but it's not fair to make these kind of generalizations. So another question, do you agree with all of them? Do you agree maybe with a couple of them? The thing is that it's not the same to answer if you are an American citizen, you know what you're talking about. So you have more or less the power to decide, according to your own experience, if these stereotypes are right or are wrong. But people from abroad, people who haven't visited your country, it's not fair that the only information they know is this information, because stereotypes are normally negative, in most of the cases are negative. So people are getting negative information about countries through stereotypes. So do you agree? No, we don't agree with stereotypes. So we have to avoid this kind of general knowledge that leads us to the stereotypes, and we have to try to get the actual facts through experience. Go there. I totally recommend you guys to travel. Go to Spain, go to Italy. If you go to Italy, you will probably discover that people don't only eat pizza and spaghettis, they have an immensely wide gastronomy. And that's the things that you discover when you go and visit the place. So that's why I'm telling you that you should travel the world as much as you can. So, stereotypes. How do we define stereotypes? Well, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a stereotype is a standardized mental picture that is held in common by members of a group and that represents an oversimplified opinion, prejudiced attitude, or uncritical judgment. So, When we trust in stereotypes, we are oversimplifying things. We are judging things that we do not know. And we are being uncritical, not only towards that country, but also toward ourselves. We have to be critical on about everything. You have to have your own voice about things, okay? Then the Cambridge Dictionary says, stereotype, to have a set idea about what a particular type of person is like, especially an idea that is wrong. So stereotypes are wrong according to the Cambridge Dictionary. So if the Cambridge Dictionary tells us that, we have to avoid from now on all kind of generalizations and stereotypes, okay? Now we're going to be dealing with some Spanish stereotypes, as I promised, because I gave you the stereotypes about the United States, and I want to share with you the stereotypes of Spain and how, and my perspective of how Spanish people feel when they hear these things about us. So the Spanish are lazy and love to sleep the siesta. Spain is the land of sunshine and beaches. Spain is the land of bullfights. Spain is the land of flamenco. Spain is the land of fiestas. We're going to be dealing with each one of them independently. So the first one, Spanish are lazy and love to sleep the siesta. Is that true? I mean, I think that I wake up very early each morning and I go to work and I work nonstop. And then people from abroad are going to think that I'm a lazy person. Is that fair? So avoid generalizations. And siesta, what is siesta? Siesta is a rest or sleep taken after lunch, especially in hot countries. Hot countries, something that we are going to be talking about later. So how do we dismantle the stereotype? Coming to Spain, living like Spanish people, communicating with the Spanish people, changing ideas with the Spanish people, because actually only 20% of Spanish people get to sleep siesta. Only people, especially living in rural areas, because the people that live and work in the cities, if a person live in the city, maybe is going to live in a suburban area. So if you work in the city center and you work part-time, you have to stop to lunch and then come to work again. You don't have time enough to go to your house, eat in your house, take lunch in your house, and then taking a nap. You don't have time for that. So all people that work and live in cities, they do not have time to sleep siesta. So actually it's only 20% of the people in Spain that get to sleep siesta. And we have these stereotypes. And you come to Spain and you see in this kind of shops that sell things to tourists, you see the t-shirts with the word siesta here, like we are very proud of our siesta. We sleep siesta every day, and that's not true. Maybe in summer we sleep siesta a little longer because we have a lot of hours of light hours. And it is day here in Spain until 10 p.m. in summer. So like the day is too long and we decide to take a break, but always if you can, because if you're working in a city, you can't, and that's impossible. So first stereotype dismantled. Let's go for the next one. Spain is the land of sunshine and beaches. And this picture is taken from a beach in the Balearic Islands. So, well, probably it's very sunny there, but it's not sunny in the whole country because we could establish a division here in Madrid, the capital of our country, the capital of Spain. From Madrid to the top, it's cold, it's rainy, the weather is totally different from Madrid to Andalusia. So here, for example, in the Basque country, you see the people with the umbrellas. It is very rainy and it's very cold actually. But if you come to the south, to the Canary Islands, you're going to find the same kind of weather, or more or less the same kind of weather than the Balearic Islands. Remember the image we had before? more or less the same kind of weather. But here in the south, in Andalusia, the region that I come from, here it's very hot normally the entire year, except for winter, but it's like a very soft winter. But we have, curiously, we have a place called Sierra Nevada, which you find snow. So Spain is not the land of sunshine and beaches. We have Mondays, we have rainy days, we have snow, we have all of that. And if you don't come to Spain, or you don't know Spanish people, or are interested in the Spanish culture, you don't get to know these kind of things. You stay just in the general idea, and that's a very poor idea that does not reflect the reality. Let's go for the third one. Spain is the land of bullfights. Well, this is a very controversial topic here in Spain. For those of you who do not know it, bullfighting is a national spectacle in which a bull is ceremoniously fought in a sand arena and usually killed. So this person here is called a torero, and this person fights with the bull, el toro, fights with the bull and finally kills it. So it's like it's something that this topic I don't want to get too much deep into it because it's a very controversial topic in Spain, but just for you to know that not all Spain supports bullfighting. Only 20%, 25% of the people in Spain support bullfighting. You can find in the streets of Spain continuous manifestations and continuous protests, like here. In the left picture, you find people with the Spanish flag and with a bull in the middle of it. These people is saying that toros, as you find here, toros, bulls, are culture. Okay, so these people support bullfighting because they consider it a tradition and culture, and they put the bull in the middle of the Spanish flag. Okay, and on the other hand, you find on the right side the picture with again the same flag, the Spanish flag, with a bull in the middle of it, but the word vivo, which means alive. It's like, we want bulls in Spain, but we want them alive. So there is this controversy within Spain, but it's a pity that people from abroad only think that we in Spain, all people in Spain support this kind of tradition, when actually it's only 25% of the people who support it. Okay, let's continue. Number 4, Spain is the land of flamenco. Is that true? Dismantling the stereotype. First of all, what is flamenco? Well, flamenco is a kind of dancing and singing that appear in Andalusia with the mix of the Arabian, the Arabian and the Jewish culture mainly, and it appeared a different way of singing, a different way of dancing. And people from abroad think that all Spain is flamenco. And that is not true. Flamenco has its stronghold in Andalusia, in my region again, has its stronghold in Andalusia, and depending on the city you are in, you find a different variety of flamenco. If you are in Sevilla, you find sevillanas. If you are in Córdoba, you find a different type of dance or singing in Jaén, Almería, Granada. Depending on the city you are in, you're going to find a different kind of flamenco. However, and what is most interesting about this is that the majority of Spanish people do not know how to dance flamenco, including myself. I do not know how to dance flamenco. I can dress in the regional flamenco dance, in the regional flamenco dress, but I do not know how to dance flamenco. People normally think that flamenco is something that appears spontaneously, but it has a very strict set of rules. People do not know this. And people think that, again, as I was saying, that it's very common in the entire country, but it's not. especially in Andalusia, and less as you go to the north. Okay. And finally, the last stereotype. Spain is the land of fiestas. Well, fiestas. What is fiestas? Fiestas mean party. So people normally think that here in Spain, we party a lot, we love to hang out, we love to be on the street, and we love to go to this kind of parties. But that is not true. In Spain, each city, town, or village has its own party, its own fiesta, once a year. And it's normally done to honor a patron or a saint, the saint of the city or the saint of the village, and it's once a year. It's a very cultural event. It's a very regional event that has nothing to do with these kind of parties, nothing to do. Here you can see myself in the regional flamenco dress, because in my city, in Sevilla, we have this fiesta, which is the Feria de Abril. And what is the Feria de Abril? The Feria de Abril is a week of dancing, drinking, eating, and socializing with late nights. Seville society parades around the fairground in carriages on horseback and dressed in the regional costume, as I am here in the picture. So it is something that is unique to Seville, but people from abroad know about this party and they come to visit us. And if you have the opportunity to come in April, in the month of April, in spring, when the city is at its most beauty, please come and do not miss it out. Do not miss Feria de Abril, okay? But it's something regional. It's something very colorful with a lot of lights, very local, okay? And then, for example, you have Tomatina de Buñol, which is a party held in the Valencian town of Buñol, in which participants throw tomatoes and get involved in a tomato fight purely for entertainment, and just for entertainment. And here in the picture, you can see how the streets end covered with tomato sauce, and people, like, they make the joke that they are swimming in the street in the middle of the tomato sauce. And it's very funny because then the fireworkers, they come and clean all the streets and everything is brand new from one moment to the other. It's very, very funny. All of these parties sadly have been canceled this year due to the situation. But if you have the opportunity to come in the future to Feria de Abril or to Tomatina, please come, don't doubt it. Then we have other kind of parties. I wanted to show you this, the Fadias de Valencia, which is a traditional celebration held in commemoration of Saint Joseph in the city of Valencia. The term Fallas refers to both the celebration and also the wax monuments that are burnt during the celebration. So you see this, I wanted to include this to you, the Statue of Liberty and Recreation, for you to see. This is made up of wax, and at the end of the celebration, it is burnt. It's a pity because they are so beautiful, but they at the end burnt it, is the tradition. Again, all the parties in Spain actually are very local, are very traditional, are based on culture, and many of them on religion. Here, the picture on the right, you find a nurse wearing a face mask, and this was the falla created for this year until coronavirus, COVID-19 appeared, and it had appeared when they built the monument, but the fallas had to be canceled due to the rapid spread of the disease. So they had to dismantle the monument, but they have created already this monument representing the times we were living. It's very, very beautiful, and again, I recommend you to see it, okay? And well, guys, as an end to the presentation, I wanted to show you this video. As our conclusions, I would say that we should never generalize. We should experience before judging. We should experience ourselves. We have to go to visit and to know people. That's the most important thing. I would say, like what you see in this image here, people from all over the world taking hands. I think that's the most important thing, to go out and to know people from many, many other countries, because in that way you can differentiate between the good and bad things about a country, and you can implement the good things that you find in your own country, avoiding the bad ones. So always be empathetic, and also always be critical, and don't believe everything you hear. And that would be all. And thank you, all of you, for listening to me. And I hope I help you with Spanish stereotypes to understand some of them, to understand our point of view. That's all. Thank you.
Maria, thank you so much. What a great presentation. I think it's so great that we all have a chance to meet you and talk to you today and hear from a real Spanish person, hear it right from the source, what everyday life in southern Spain is like. Thank you so much. We are really just about out of time here, but I want to throw in one final reminder for anyone who's watching the live stream right now. If you have a question that you'd like to ask Maria, we have a couple minutes where we could fit one in. I do have a question for you to get us started, and it's something that I've experienced because I love Spanish food, and I love to talk about Spanish food and all the delicious Spanish foods that I've tried. And whenever I say that to somebody, they say, "Oh, you must like spicy things." Is that, can you explain why that is a stereotype or just flat wrong?
Well, I think that people get it wrong. We don't eat spicy food here in Spain, not especially spicy food. I think people like think that it's something related to Mexico, when we are actually two different countries on two sides of the world with different cultures and different food traditions. And no, we don't eat here spicy food. That's not something typical of Spain. So if you come to Spain, do not expect to find spicy food. No, not at all, I would say.
What is your favorite thing to eat in Seville? Are there any special foods that are unique to Andalusia that you want to recommend that our viewers try if they get a chance?
Yeah, I would recommend totally, if you come to Andalusia or any other part of Spain, especially in Andalusia, this is it's most traditional here, to eat tapas, because tapas is like a small dish, okay? And if you order small dishes, if you order tapas, you get to try a lot of things in the restaurant. They are very cheap, and it has become almost a way of life, like to go out with your friends and enjoy some tapas, trying different things, even sharing one with your friends, and you get to try like the half of the menu of the restaurant, and going to the same restaurant 3 times, you try the entire menu for a very, very good price. So I totally recommend to come here and to order tapas, and whatever tapa that you prefer. I love them all.
Well, that sounds delicious. You've got me very hungry now. I want to thank you today for sharing your perspective, especially because a lot of Reach the World classrooms are learning the Spanish language or have backgrounds that are linked to Spanish-speaking countries in Central or South America. And it's just really great to speak to a real wonderful, delightful person like you from Spain and hear from you. We have a lot of travelers who like to study abroad in Spain and maybe listening to this today thinking, I got to get to southern Spain, or maybe I'll study abroad in Sevilla someday. I can just second that it's a wonderful place to be, and I hope that they do come and visit you.
Yeah. So I totally encourage all of you to come here to Spain and to visit. I almost forgot to show it, Sevilla. And you see, it's full with the stereotypes. But anyways, come here, and if I can help you in any way possible, I'm here.
All right, well, thank you so much. Maria, I want to thank you again for joining Reach the World today. Thank you also to our entire live stream audience for going on this journey with us. Reach the World will be hosting many more Meet the World live stream events over the coming months and through the rest of this academic year. And you're all invited to virtually travel the world with us and meet more delightful people like Maria. So please visit athome.reachtheworld.org for more information. thank you again, and we will see you next time.
Bye.